Shalom, my friend. Intergenerational transmission of values is a process where fundamental beliefs, attitudes, morals, knowledge, and behaviors are passed down from older generations to younger generations. This ensures cultural continuity and shapes the way the younger generation perceives the world. It is a dynamic process that maintains traditions, cultural identity, and social cohesion. In this week's Torah portion, Parashat Vayechi, this process is seen unfolding, and very fundamental aspects of Judaism are passed down directly from Jacob when he stressed that he must not be buried in Egypt, but in the promised land, and when he spoke words of blessing over Ephraim, Manasseh, and over his other 12 sons. Parashat Vayechi is from Genesis chapter 47 verse 28 up to chapter 50 verse 26. And we are going to read today from Genesis chapter 47 verse 29 to 31. And it says, "As the time of Israel's death drew near, he called for his son Joseph and said to him, 'If I have found favor in your eyes, please put your hand under my thigh and show me faithful kindness. Please do not bury me in Egypt. When I lie down with my fathers, you must carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burial place.' So he said, 'I myself will do according to your word.' 'Swear to me,' he said. So he swore to him. Then Israel bowed down in worship on the head of his staff." And this is the last portion of the book of Genesis, Bereshit. So we say, Chazak, Chazak, Venit Chazek. Be strong, and may we be strengthened. My friend, what we have just read from Genesis chapter 47, verse 29 to 31 is an oath, and it contains some very deep spiritual themes as follows. First, Jacob asked Joseph to give him unconditional loving kindness, in the sense that it was a kindness that Jacob could not repay Joseph, because the dead cannot thank the living. And secondly, Jacob uses covenantal language. "Put your hand under my thigh and show me faithful kindness." This shows the seriousness of this request in the quest for covenantal loyalty and honoring his heritage and God's promises. He made it into a binding commitment, sealed with an oath that goes beyond typical family obligations. And third, as an intergenerational transmission of values, Jacob's insistence of being buried with the other patriarchs and matriarchs in the Ma'arat HaMachpelah, the cave of the patriarchs, despite the logistics of transporting his body all the way from Egypt, was an effective tool to convey the knowledge and improve the understanding of the generations after him as to where exactly home is for them, reinforcing identity and hope. This ensured that his descendants would remember their connection to the land of Israel and the promises that God made to the patriarchs, and that their final destiny is not in Egypt, but in the promised land, despite the temporary comfort that was there in Egypt during Jacob's days. Jacob's desire to be buried in Canaan was an act of faith, an acknowledgement of God's sovereignty, and the certainty that God would fulfill his promise to give the land to Israel as an everlasting possession. In anticipation of the Exodus, both Jacob's and later Joseph's burial requests became a constant, visible reminder and signpost pointing towards the future Exodus and the fulfillment of God's redemptive plan for his people. Indeed, when the time came for Israel to be redeemed out of Egypt and into the promised land, the Exodus took place. And why was it important, my friend? It was absolutely essential that Yeshua's birth, life, ministry, death, and resurrection occur in the promised land. Why? Because this location was central to the fulfilling of hundreds of specific Old Testament prophecies and to the Abrahamic covenant, demonstrating that Yeshua is the promised Messiah of Israel and Savior of the world. In turn, Yeshua's work in the promised land transformed the physical promises of an earthly inheritance into a spiritual and eschatological one, benefiting believers not only from Israel, but also from all the nations of the world. Thank you so much for watching, and shalom.